Good morning, my dear gardening friends. Look at this beautiful, charming corner in my garden. And the star of this corner is Olivia Austin rose, a shrub rose, repeat blooming rose from David Austin. A beautiful Olivia Austin rose. She is the earliest blooming rose in my garden. Usually all the roses start to bloom in my zone 6, coastal Connecticut, the first week of June, and she definitely started her blooms at the end of May. And this year was a little bit unusual for all of my roses, maybe because we had very warm winter. All my roses started blooming around 1 week earlier. So let's talk about this beautiful rose. When I planted her 3 years ago in my garden, I didn't expect her to be so healthy. And Olivia Austin, in one of the later introductions of David Austin Rose Company, and last year I didn't see a single black spot on her. It was a very late time in the season, and usually here in Connecticut, where we have humid weather, black spot is just here to stay, and of course we can never eradicate it, but we can minimize it by choosing healthy varieties. And I must say that Olivia Austin is a great choice, especially for the beginner gardener, since it's so healthy and so vigorous. Look at this, all these growths happened only in 2 years in my garden. I introduced her 2 years ago, and of course she came as grafted rose, and there are 2 roses growing together. I like to have roses which has body to them, a lot of green leaves, a lot of beautiful full shrubs. So I plant my roses usually in groups. So this Olivia rose is planted approximately, I would say, 1.5 feet. And 2 shrubs are doing very well. They are receiving a lot of sun here. This is a very good spot for Olivia rose. There is no shade, no competition. So let's talk about the growing habit of Olivia rose. Right away, Olivia Austin starts forming this very beautiful, harmonious shrub. It's nice and round. The prediction of David Austin for the shape of the shrub would be 4.5 feet high and 3.5 feet wide. So Olivia Austin by nature is a little bit taller than wider. Keep that in mind in case you want to have a nice big presence. Maybe you want to consider more than one shrubs like I did here. So Olivia Austin in my garden is still youngish rose, but look how much she grew for the first 2 years, which is a great gift for the beginner rosarian who are desperately in need of that first rose success to make sure that they wouldn't get discouraged. Olivia Austin is highly recommended for that. The flowers of Olivia Austin are big. She's very proliferous, creating these blooms one after another. The scent is nice and light. Right now I'm recovering from some sort of respiratory issues, so I cannot smell my roses very well. But they have very nice and light scent, fitting to the beautiful pink color of the rose. The flowers are somewhat shallow and beautifully formed. I like how Olivia Austin nods her roses after they fully developed. Some people might consider it a flaw. You see, right now this flower is just developing, and then when it is coming into its paler stage, it starts nodding. Don't worry, it's not a sign of rose being growing in dry conditions, no. It's not just a natural habit of the rose. And you might put that into maybe a negatives of Olivia rose. I don't. I like how she creates these beautiful blooms all the time, and then the old ones are kind of nodding off. Where can we use Olivia Austin in the garden? Well, since Olivia Austin is so disease resistant, literally look at her foliage. And again, it's the beginning of the season. A lot of roses do look healthy and their best right now. But even through the season maturing into the fall, Olivia Austin fights her fights and keeps her foliage nice and green without any black spot, at least in my garden. So where can we use Olivia Austin? Rose border, rose hedges where the planting is somewhat tight and there is a possibility of mildew and not enough of air circulation. Olivia Austin can take those conditions very well. Olivia Austin would be very happy in pots and containers since she is somewhat of a medium shrub. As for the cuttings, some David Austin varieties in my garden are very easy and quick to lose their petals. Olivia Austin does keep her petals relatively long on the stems. For example, this flower right here, you see, it is getting kind of old. It is here already maybe for 4 or 5 days, and finally it's starting to lose its freshness. Still, petals are on and they're not falling. So maybe another 2 days and the bloom will become old and I will come in and will trim it. American Rose Society, a great organization of United States, gave this rose a rating of 8.5. So American Rose Society assigns a number to, or majority of the roses on the market, and 10 is totally outstanding rose, the best of the best. Olivia Austin was tried, tested, and assigned 8.5. And according to American Rose Society, roses which fall into the number between 8.3 and 8.7 are very good to excellent roses. And Olivia Austin got 8.5, which is a very high number on that list. I would highly recommend Olivia Austin for anybody in the garden, since the blooms are so nice, gentle, fit well with other colors, the pink color. They mix well, they're a team player. She goes well with other neighbors, and since she's so highly disease resistant, a great candidate for the beginner rosarian. Now let's see how I planted her here and how I matched her with all the other plants. So on this side I planted 3 agastaches, and they are a little bit not coinciding with the blooms of Olivia Austin. But Olivia Austin is a great bloom repeater. It's also a season extender, so she starts her season very early and then she blooms continuously all the way to the end of the blooming season, which is great. So the meeting of blooms, I call it, of Agastache and Olivia will still happen. It is not happening at the beginning of the blooming season when, you know, the show is the most impressive. It's okay, I'm going to add some other perennials here. For example, here I have my salvia, which unfortunately I think would be an annual for me, since she's good as a perennial from zone 9. And on that place, I wanted to overwinter Verbena bonariensis, because verbena with those beautiful dark blooms would be so great with light pink colors of my Olivia Austin. I thought that would be a great match. Verbena then survives through the winter and it is good to zone 7 as a perennial. So I don't think I would be able to overwinter my salvia there. What can you do? We do have occasional rabbits coming into the garden, which I'm protecting my Olivia Austin from those baby rabbits with the help of this low fence. And at the beginning that fence was maybe this high and I didn't like its presence in the garden, so I cut it in half. So it's probably this high, and inside what I did, to discourage rabbits from jumping in, I put just dry sticks around, so there's no place to jump for the rabbits. So that's a good little suggestion for those of you who don't have a strong rabbit pressure, just occasional rabbits here and there, or chipmunks. That's another one. So you can see that some of Olivia Austin branches are kind of falling, and I think it's because my Olivia is young. And look at this, these new shoots are coming nice and strong. I think that the next strong bloom, which is happening during the first flush of blooms, Olivia will start creating nice strong shoots which will be coming even higher, and it will make her more mature next year. She will be reaching actually 4.5 feet, which is somewhere here. So I'm expecting great things from Olivia Austin in my garden. And by the way, it would be lovely if you would subscribe to my channel and like this video. We will see you in our next video. Happy gardening. And don't forget to put your nose into a flower today.